What's up, family? Today's episode is a little bit of a throwback. Conversation's probably about a year and a half old, but it's one of the clearest examples of what I mean when I talk to you guys about building life or lifestyle you don't need a vacation from. And we need tools to do it. It's not just go to work only, it's leveraging that work, leveraging that 9 to 5 more than it leverages you. You are going to hear me on the Unfollow the Herd podcast with my friend Marc Kuhn, talking about real estate and my 9 to 5 and the intermixing of the two, which is what I use predominantly to create this lifestyle that I have. Marc and I met a couple years ago, and what I've always liked about Marc is that yes, he's a real estate investor. Yes, he's very big into things like social media and things of that nature. But I was drawn to him because his style of real estate investing is one that matches my style of supporting life. Real estate wasn't the life. Real estate is used to support life. And it's not just me doing it. There's other amazing investors like Marc Kuhn or other people in other businesses who are doing that as well, where they are creating businesses or creating streams of income simply to support lifestyle, not to just chase the money. And that's the issue. So you're going to hear me talking on the Unfollow the Herd podcast, talking about real estate in the 9 to 5. And on the surface of it, it might sound like another money or investing episode, but it's not. That's why I wanted you to listen. So, like I was saying, for most people, real estate becomes a chase for more. I've seen it over and over again, especially or even from business partners, even from my clients, from a coaching perspective and from a corporate perspective, always wanting to chase more units, more deals, more status. That's I have a saying that when you chase money, it runs. When you chase money, it runs. You end up at some point making a mistake, but when you do really good things and money is a byproduct of that thing, it's on a totally different level. So for me, it was never really about that. It wasn't about money. Real estate was simply the tool that I used to buy back my time and earn my freedom. So every condo, every house, it was measured in hours of my life I could reclaim and in the ability to choose where in the world I would wake up. Like today, I'm in the Mediterranean today. So as you listen, I want you to do two things. One, translate everything I'm saying about real estate into your own vehicle. Don't take it literally, everything that I'm saying. I'm not saying real estate is the end all be all. I'm just saying that real estate is the tool that I use to get to my end all be all. Maybe your path is property, maybe it's business, a skill set, or something totally different. It's okay. It could be your 9 to 5 and just leveraging it the way that I leverage my corporate career. The details do not matter as much as the principle. Use money to create freedom, not to create another prison. I want to say that again. Use money to create freedom, not to create another prison. And one of the reasons I say that phrase twice is because I've also watched people leave, for example, corporate to then go build another 9 to 5 where they're stuck in the same routine. The idea is to leverage the 9 to 5 or leverage the streams of income to create the freedom that you want, not build another machine that keeps you stuck. Second, listen for how I use my 9 to 5 instead of hating it. I did the jobs, but I also used the job to use the job as fuel to build my life outside of it. And that is the Try Life on Way. You do not have to burn your life to the ground to start designing a better one. There's a lot of people who say entrepreneurs, investors, or anyone who wants to start a small business, they should just burn the boats at their normal 9 to 5 and get it in and have no plan B. I agree with the no plan B. I knew exactly what I wanted out of life. What I disagree with is there's nothing wrong with leveraging 9 to 5, executing your employer's mission while you are executing your own. So, as you go into this episode, keep your own perfect day in mind. Ask yourself, how could I use what I already have to buy back my time, my location freedom, and eventually all the 5 freedoms that I talk about: time, financial, geographic, purpose, and relationships. There are tools to get after them, so I hope you get after them, and that's one of the purposes of this episode. All right, let's get into it with my man, Marc Kuhn.
Today, I got a special guest that went from W-2 for a long time to an entrepreneur to a real estate investor He's had quite the journey. He's one of the inspirations of me actually even starting on LinkedIn and starting posting and actually creating my own brands. So I look up to this guy a lot. He tells everyone to, try to get out of their comfort zones and try life on. Maurice
Mhm.
Philogene, thanks, man. I appreciate you taking the time.
Man, it's my pleasure. It's been great to interact with you on social media, man, and get to know you. And I love your story. It's a great example of how and why people should get off the bench the way you and I were just talking about.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, and like I got off the bench as an entrepreneur, but I didn't get off the bench like to create content and like deliver a message. Like, I like you always think about it's bragging or whatever, but you just it helps so many people. When they start reaching out, it's like
Yeah.
we're just trying to tell you the secrets of committing. So try to let's just tell everyone like where are you at right now and because I know you're all across you're everywhere
All
and
across the
and
world
and
and
what are you
whatnot.
doing?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Well, I'm in Washington, D.C. today. What you're alluding to is the fact that I have a joy of experiencing the planet. And I spend a lot of time in Cyprus and the Mediterranean, Lebanon. So if folks who tend to follow me, a lot of them are in Lebanon. So I want to send them love because of what's happening over there. So that is 100% on my mind. In fact, it's a big part of my day when I wake up now to think about my friends and stuff over there because I lived there this summer for 2 months,
Oh
which was
wow.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of kicked out of my home now, so I kind of want to go back. But yeah, so I am out of the W-2 world. Here, I'll start at the end. I like starting at the end. I think
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
I'm a father of two. I'm out of the W-2 world now because of real estate and other things that you talk about. Haitian immigrant kid, born in New York, raised in Boston, ended up in Washington, D.C. through University of Virginia. And just like probably a lot of people listening to the podcast, I did the typical work world stuff right out of school, got hired by Accenture, which is a management consulting firm, and frankly stayed with them for 25 years. Retired in 2000 or 2021, so 2 years ago. And but the beautiful thing is, like, I leveraged that W-2 or 9 to 5 really well. I invested in real estate since I was 21, became a street cop when I was 33 at the same time, and then was also in the military as a federal agent at the same time. But all of it to say, my mantra is trying life on. I was very aware the entire time that the reason that you and I do the entrepreneurial stuff that we do and why other people do the 9 to 5 stuff they do, so we can go live. And I live probably to a fault, emphatically. And yeah, man, that's where I am today. I'm just experiencing time and financial freedom, and I am plugged into planet and earth as intended.
Wow. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I just read your messages and you discover the whole planet, as you said.
Yeah.
I mean, you're everywhere. And,
Yeah.
but I love that, like the beginning of your career, like it was, like you said, it was pretty straightforward. You went
Yeah.
out and
Yeah.
got a W-2 job. You didn't do anything crazy. I mean, you were just following a path.
Mm-hmm.
When you were working those, what caused you to want more, or just kind of keep doing what you were doing? What
Yeah.
caused you to kind of keep wanting to level up, or what sparked you?
I gotta remember sometimes that when I go on these platforms, and thank you for doing a platform that's going to help people, that you have different listeners than other people have. Because I feel like I've said this so many times, but it's worth it. I My father sent me to France when I was 15 years old. And being a knucklehead kid from Boston, I wasn't always getting in trouble, but I wasn't really hanging around the right places either. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But he sends me on this trip to France, 30 days with an exchange student's family that stayed with me the previous year. So this is 1990. I was 15 years old.
Oh, okay.
Drove around the country in a stick shift Range Rover, like this old 83 beat up puke green stick shift Range Rover. And it was phenomenal. It was exercising my French language because I'm Haitian. It was girls, castles, funerals, weddings, food, wine. I At the time I just didn't understand that the world was bigger than Boston or my neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Mm, yep.
That was the catalyst. And then the second catalyst was when I was 21, I found the book Personal Finance for Dummies. I wanted to fix my finances. I got interested in that. And then they had a passage in there on passive income. Now, here's the thing,
Mm,
which passive income to me at the time was, oh shit, I can make money without physically having to be somewhere.
yep.
So if you think about the story I just told you from France and travel, it's like, man, if I can make passive income, I can go back to having those kinds of emotions and experiences. And where else in the world can I go? So that's how it all started. I just had this why. I didn't get into real estate because, oh man, I'm going to be the mogul, or I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. It was literally because I had an emotion that the world was bigger than where I came from. And how
Mm,
do I go experience more of it, whether it's entrepreneurial stuff or meeting people or whatever it is.
yeah.
That was the driver for all of it.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And you know, you got you took the leap of faith, and how did you do the 401k? I mean, you've
Yeah.
done different investing paths. Maybe talk about each investing path and what you found within it, you know. So if it was just simple
So
401k, but maybe talk a little bit about that.
to be clear, I touch about $250 million worth of real estate, whether it's through Quattro Capital, my syndicating company in the US, or the international stuff I do from a real estate development perspective. But I don't prescribe that that's the route for people. I don't. And so when I started working, thank God I picked up that book, Personal Finance for Dummies, because so I started working October 20th, 1997. The date sticks with me for some reason. I know why it sticks with me, because I graduated from ground combat school October 3rd, 1997, drove back to DC and started work October 20th. I remember
Okay.
that. My first raise the next year, I was putting 7% in 401k, and then my first raise next year I put it to the max, and I maxed out 401k for 25 years. It's fairly sizable. It's
Yeah.
sizable. I'm gonna say it's actually, no, I won't say the number. It's sizable. Put it that way.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but here's the problem, and there's nothing wrong with the 401k, but it has a fundamental flaw. The flaw is I can't. Here I am, 46. I'm not. I mean, 48. I'm not tapping that money to live right now. I'm not gonna tap that. I don't think I'll ever tap it now because I have real estate, but I can't use that money to go live life at 20, at 30, at 40. It's a flaw. Because if you follow the normal path of things and we get out of work in 60s, I know people take vacations and stuff like that. But when I mean plugged into life, I have time to do amazing things relative to what I want. If you wait that long, you're not going to experience, let's say, your first trip to Italy or your first hiking through the Colorado Rockies. If you do it at 30, it's a very different experience than if you do it at 65.
Mm, yeah.
It's all okay. So I've had multiple modes of investing, primarily real estate, okay, because of the passive income. And even if the rates of return, let's say the average annual return is 10%, 8%, which is not that great, or 20%, it never really mattered to me. What mattered to me was, how do I pay this thing off? Because that's going to be $1,000 a month for the rest of my life. I didn't
Mm,
care about, oh, I can do better on this thing. I was like, I already have this thing. I'm gonna do
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Real estate gave me passive income. My 401k and a few other things gave me large scale equity that I can apply to my family legacy and societal stuff. And then the development work that I do over in Cyprus now, that is shockingly profitable. But I did it to have a new lifestyle. I didn't do it from an investing perspective. But interestingly enough, because there's so much migration to that island, think the war in Russia, think the earthquake in Turkey, God rest those people's soul in every situation, and think what's going on in the Mideast. A lot of people are coming to Cyprus.
Mm,
They have pushed the property values up to the extent where 300,000 has turned into 1.6 in 2 years.
wow. Geez.
Yes. So it's been this track, man, and it's all been purposeful. The first real estate life was for financial freedom. That was single family homes. Second real estate life was to help other people get there faster. That was the multifamily stuff, syndication.
Yeah.
And the third real estate is my development stuff, which is for lifestyle.
Cool. I love that. And so you what took you the leap? I'm curious. We're gonna go back a little bit in the story because you kind of
Yeah.
went through it, but I just, I got so many, and rates are high right now.
Yeah. 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 No
So
doubt.
buying real estate mathematically just is harder, right? It's slower. There's
Yeah.
not as much
Yeah.
velocity. There's a lot of people a lot of people, meaning 99% of people would never
Mm.
buy real estate because they don't understand it. How did you you did 25 years of maxing out a 401k to know
Yeah.
that you're not even going to touch it. And then
Yeah.
you
I
were
don't
like,
care
how do
about
I
it.
figure out, did that passive income book push you for, was it passive income for personal finance for dummies? Is that what's
It
pushed you to real estate?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
I found the passage. I found a passage in that book. It was a very
Okay.
small thing. It was like on page 94. What is this? What is passive income? That made me curious. And then sometimes we have to get lucky. And I got lucky. And the way that I got lucky was in 2002, I was buying a place to live. I was just 25 years old. I was buying a
Okay.
place to live. But it was at the beginning of the real estate boom of that time.
Okay.
So when I bought that condo for I think 135, within 3 months, the same floor plan next building sold for 30 grand more. My
Mm.
father, I called him because I don't really understand what this is. He said, you just made 30 grand. And the way that my brain works and still worked at the time and still works today, I always equate money to what it does for people's lives. And I said, 30 grand, that's someone's salary for a year.
Mm.
You're telling me I just did that in one transaction by accident? He's like, yep. Okay. So we don't have Google or anything back then yet. So I went to the library. I joke about it on social media all the time. Fairfax County Library. I just went to the business aisle. I picked up a book. It happened to be about condo investing. And then later I found another book on the millionaire real estate investor. And it just told me what to do. I was like, how do I buy that thing again that just made me 30 grand in 3 months? So by the end of that year, I had bought 10 condos, 10 in a year.
Wow. You went crazy there. I mean, like,
I went nuts. I didn't know. But
I'm buying them all. Yeah.
brother, if you take a kid who I certainly was not poor. My parents worked really hard as educators to provide for me and my brother, but we didn't have money. We were broke. So you're telling a 25-year-old who's making $47,000 at a firm, he just made $30,000 one transaction. Hell yeah, I'm gonna go do this over and over and over again until I can get to a certain point.
So did you say 25 at that time?
Yep, it's 25.
So
Yep.
25. So like the year of 25 to 26, you had 10 condos under your belt.
I went nuts, man. And probably within like 10 years, I think I had 50 and then whittled it down. 2008 hit me. I ran into some problems. And that
Yep.
50 whittled down to 35. And then I sold some of the 35 because they appreciated significantly,
Mm,
took that money and then paid off the rest.
gotcha.
That's that story I tell on social all the time when people are
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, how did you
Yeah.
pay it all off? Because I didn't go buy more. I just paid off what I had.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think anyone listening to this would be like, okay, how do you start? Well, Maurice, and how did you, maybe the next question would, I'm
Yeah.
thinking to the guy sitting on the sidelines, like, hey, I'm ready. I'm maybe 35. Now I have
Mm,
kids, now I have a lifestyle, right? Like this elevated lifestyle. How
yeah.
do I take that leap and go buy 10 properties today? Like, how would you do it? Is it changed at all?
No,
If you were to do it again?
no, no, no. The way you go buy 10 properties is you buy the first one and focus on that.
Yeah.
And like I coach people in lifestyle design now, one of the verticals in there is financial freedom. So we talk about real estate and other stuff all the time. But one of the things I tell people is, listen, man, do the first deal. Don't worry about the rate of return of your money. Just don't lose money. We're not gonna lose money.
Yeah.
If the thing's cash flowing 20 bucks, 30 bucks, 40 bucks, like that's fine. Okay. You'll probably have some expenses that will eat you up a little bit and all that. But just get the momentum. Just do the deal so you understand that you can actually do it. So it's just look, save 20 grand, save 30 grand from your job, hustle, save the money, go find something that's at $100,000, 120, 130 price
Yeah.
point. Do that deal, feel it, understand it, find a property manager to take care of it. Stop worrying about a property manager as 10%. That 10% is so worth the time that it will free up for you to go find the next one.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
the way that you get to 10 and get off the sideline, you go to work, you pay yourself first, systematically, automatically. Before you pay the cable company, pay yourself first. You are more important. Store up 10 grand, store up 20 grand, or partner with someone. You guys store 20, 30 together. Buy something, 100 grand, 200 grand. Not in your state? Okay, go find somewhere where there's a price point that's reasonable. Do the deal, get the education, and then you start to build from there.
Boom. Look at that. Mic
Yeah.
drop. Good one. I think that's great. That should be good for anyone listening to this. I mean,
Yeah,
replay
basic
that,
stuff.
listen to that again. It's commit to the first one and
Yeah.
move yourself forward. So then you moved. How long were you working a W-2 while you owned all these like this was a side
Whole
hustle for you,
time. No,
right?
it was total side hustle. So
Yeah.
I understand I have a kind of a weird story, but it's purposeful. So I was a corporate exec for 25 years. I was a street cop starting at age 33, but did it at the same time. That was at night. So corporate during the day, street cop at night. And then real estate was all the time, but really during the weekends and in between calls when I was on patrol and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not I didn't transition from W2 or being an employee into being an entrepreneur. It's that I was just leveraging the W2 to buy real estate because I wanted more freedom at some point. That's all
Right.
it was. I am hyper grateful for the company that I worked for. Hyper grateful. Because what it did as a consultant, I was always solving business challenges for clients.
Hmm.
I was briefing CEOs and heads of the Department of Defense and talking to generals, and I was doing so much stuff as a street cop. I was dealing with homeless people having a mental health crisis and running into homes that had a burglar and being shot at, and
Oh, jeez.
all these, and there's no glory in that. That's just part of the job. But
Okay.
all these experiences, same thing in the military, right? I was running a field office of federal agents in Turkey, and my counterpart was the chief of police for the Turkish National Police for the eastern half of the entire country. So he and I would spend time together all the time. Entrepreneurialism is great, but I don't want people to discount all the experiences that the regular work world gives you. I could not have done that in the regular world. It just makes me a better entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So I value what I did in the work world. It's just that there's no way in hell I would ever go back. My
Well,
time is too valuable.
and that, yeah, that's valid. I think, what you see now today is everyone's like passive income is a way for you to quit your job. And and you hear a lot about that. And I think it's not realistic. It's not a way, it's not a path.
I you can create enough passive income to exit, but you have to be strategic. You got to know what your basic needs number is. So if
Mm,
like it costs you 4 grand to live, meaning food, shelter, water, then what you're doing is you're trying to store money to buy assets to generate at least 4 grand because that's what you need to exist on this planet. But
mhm.
here's the trick. What people don't realize is once your basic needs are covered, your world opens. You don't feel stress anymore. It's not that you have to have millions, you have to have a few thousand. And I've had friends who were on that journey with me and they got, let's say, 3, 4 places, paid them off or did whatever they did. They get the 3 grand, 4 grand of passive income. Yeah, that's not going to work in DC, Chicago, LA, New York.
Right.
Yeah, but it will work in coastal Alabama. It will work in Thailand. It will
Yep.
work. Like we are making conscious choices to live in places where we are going to have to work for decades.
Yep.
Let's not discount that.
Yep.
But I don't subscribe to people to just jump 9 to 5, burn the boats. Nah, life is more than money. Get your experiences, do a job you love, start investing, own 5 pieces of real estate or however many stocks you want to own. Get to a certain place and then switch to a job you love. Like
Yeah.
enjoy life while you're doing this, but this burn the boat thing that's happening, we can do it. I do get it and I do understand it, but it's not the path for everybody. It wasn't the path for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you are, well, living proof for sure that, hey, we can max out our 401k and live a boring life and buy 10 condos in a year. It's
Everything's fine.
possible.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
possible. And
No
and
doubt.
it's safe. You still have your job. You know what? If he would have lost all those condos and we were investing in '06, guess what? You would have probably been well educated for the backside of the
I would
financial
have
crisis.
if I would have, there's a reason I didn't lose everything, and I'm proud of 20 or 30-year-old me for figuring it out. But if I would have lost everything, the thing that I wouldn't have lost is the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have rebuilt it at some point. It just would have been very painful. But I don't want people to think I didn't make mistakes. I definitely made mistakes. I went through a couple. I think I went through one or two foreclosures in the 2008 timeframe.
Okay.
A couple short sales. But the preponderance of what happened to me in that time frame, just real quick, because it's important for people to hear,
Yeah.
half of my tenants stopped paying. They
Mm.
lost their jobs.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm good. I got 100 grand in the bank liquid as backup. I did the right thing. I had the backup. Yeah, but when half of your tenants stop paying, that 100 grand is not going to last very long.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it did.
Yeah.
I negotiated with the banks. We came up with deals, and I figured my way through. I refused to file bankruptcy, and I made it out the other end, where most of the people that I know who were in real estate at the time did not.
Right.
But I wasn't about to quit on my dreams. So
Yeah, man. No, that's I obviously was living on the investing on the backside of that,
yeah,
where it was hard to get loans and it was like almost impossible to get loans. But
yeah,
we were in North Dakota, where obviously oil producing state and for agriculture, which do phenomenal during recessions. So
right,
we
right.
were actually booming and people were coming here, and they
Mm.
found out North Dakota was a state. But yeah,
Fair enough. Yeah, it actually
yeah,
is.
yeah, that type of thing. So well, I think also it's like you do a lot of coaching and mentoring, and did you through all of this, like, did you just figure things out, and like you were doing your W-2, you read a book, you did your thing. Did you like have a mentor or like someone that like was guiding you? Because 10 is a lot to chew off of. And if you did it alone, kudos to you. I just didn't know if you had a mentor, because I know you do coaching and mentoring today. I do that stuff
Yeah,
as well. And I try
yeah.
to help people because not enough people are taking advantage. I just, curious from you.
I coach now, but the journey that I'm talking to you about from effectively 2002 to 2017, I did it solo. And
Wow.
I'm not saying that's correct. That's not the best idea, because I didn't have a Mac to talk to. You know what I mean? I call it entrepreneurial depression. I was always working. Then I was hustling on the weekends, real estate and all that type of stuff. But in reflection, I'm glad it happened that way. And my mentors at the time was my consistent action of reading books and sitting at the library.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I was the worst bookworm, to the point where I knew all the librarians by first name. I was
Wow.
always, always, always there. It finally shipped. And, oh, by the way, and some of the real estate agents that I work with kind of started to be mentors and stuff.
Sure.
I made a post about one, a 70-year-old lady who told me some stuff to do, and I'm grateful she did. But nowadays is very different. When I went after when I got to financial freedom in 2014, and when I say financial freedom in that respect, is I was making more money from passive income than I was getting on a paycheck from my job. I
Gotcha.
just I didn't notice it. 6 months into 2014, I hadn't looked at my bank account where I was getting regular paychecks.
Mm.
I was like, oh my God, I'm okay and shit. Um, but you know what happened, Mac? When you have it, then you start to quickly realize that life was never about money in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Because all I was doing was pressing repeat on what I had always done, and it was getting very boring and stagnant. So I ended up going to a multifamily seminar. That's how my multifamily career
Oh,
started.
okay.
I had a mentor because I went to a seminar in 2016. 2017, I hadn't bought anything. Mentor flies down from Providence, Rhode Island, gives me a kick in the butt for 2 days, and 3 weeks later, I had a contract on a mobile home park. It was
Wow.
meant. It was mental. It wasn't. It wasn't the semantics of it. I just had a mental block kind of thing. And
Yeah.
then I've employed mentors since. And the reason why I coach is just to help people along their journey. Shame on you if you do well and you don't post about it, tell people the mistakes you make, put your hand down the ladder and pull people up. So that's why I like mentoring now.
Yeah. No, that is awesome, man. So you got into apartments, you hired a mentor, obviously getting through the hump of multifamily, which is obviously a whole different
It's
animal, right?
different. Different.
It's and I like how you said about real estate. It's like it takes time, but then all of a sudden these checks started to be bigger than your paycheck. And then it's like, whoa, what is going on? I think I had that same recollection when I think my first refinance, like in this office building I'm in, like just
Yeah,
the amount of money they were going to give me. And I'm like, whoa, wait, like,
it's
what's the
it
consequences going to come?
it's pretty interesting, and but for perspective, my mindset about life has not changed. Meaning, I sold an apartment complex and I got a windfall of about 400 grand.
Okay.
I didn't go take that 400 grand and go get another apartment complex. I took that 400 grand and went and paid off two single family mortgages that I
Mm,
had, because
yeah,
that added another 2,800 bucks of passive income for life. Now, that's not a great rate of return. It's not,
sure.
but that's a great life. And
Right.
isn't it the point, right? People are chasing weird definition of success based on numbers. I'm chasing it based on, if I do this, how much time is that going to free for me?
Yeah.
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 So I still think that way.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't think that way, right? Like they're going to
No.
take that 400 grand and buy the new house and buy a bunch of liabilities really that nothing
Yep.
produces income. Now, if you can take 400 grand and have $2,800 at bare minimum, it's going to grow over time for life. How does your life change now? Even though it doesn't seem like it's a big rate of return, but it changes everything. I
I
mean, I
guess what I'm trying to tell people is like, society and TV commercials and Instagram are telling you that the measure of success is that thing that you buy, or the next business, or the next bigger asset, or whatever. And
yeah,
I'm suggesting by that statement, I don't think so. I think the measure of success is how much time you can free for yourself so you can travel around the world, spend time with Mac at 12 or 1 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. I went for a 10 mile. I took my kid. I went to a parent teacher conference for my kid this morning,
yeah,
and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna drive home. I'm gonna go for a 10 mile walk. I just have time.
yeah. That's awesome. Yeah,
Time. I don't need assets. I need more time.
yeah. Talk about there ain't a more valuable asset as
Mm-mm.
you talk assets. Like, yeah, big, better is always better, but if you can get your time back and not be willing
Yeah,
to have everyone else pull you, man, how do you beat that? Instead of
yeah.
always chasing a number.
No doubt, no
Well,
doubt.
and
That's
I think so many people don't even know, like you ask them like, what is your number? Like, do you even know what you live on versus what you're making versus what is your purpose? What's your 3-year goal? What's a target? It's like, well, it's just to make more money. It's like
and what does that mean?
the, the,
What?
the lifestyle comes up to meet it.
Yeah, it just keeps rising and rising, brother. And listen, but I don't want to be pious, and I'm not trying to like virtue signal. Nah, man. Like I like assets and I like money,
Yeah.
but I like what they give me, which is time and control of it and protecting it. So
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
perspective.
I like that, man. I don't think enough people talk about it in that way, in that regard,
Yeah.
like you do, right? Like you have a great perspective that way. Um, and I know you write about it a lot, right? Like
Mhm.
maybe this is starting to clarify with you all the time in the library, knowing the librarians' names and they know your name. Is that
Yeah.
where you became a writer, or when did that trait? Like, I know that I don't know how long you've been actually posting,
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. That's how I know you, right? And
Yeah.
is that is that something that you used to do in a cop car? You know what I mean? Like, is that just
Um,
come?
this is relatively new. So I'm a mechanical engineer by education.
Okay.
I used to be a very analytical person. Writing was not my thing, nor did I care about it.
Okay.
The quick story is, at the end of 2019, I met a guy. He's on LinkedIn. You probably know him. I met a guy named Jerome Myers. I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
And I told him this whole story, this like consulting, police, federal agent, real estate. I owned a couple restaurants at the time, failed a coffee shop. Like, I just told him. He's like, how come you don't talk about it? I was like, because I just don't. I learned not to talk about my journey, because I had three careers that if consulting knew that I was patrolling the night before and didn't go to work, then they would be like, oh, he's tired from being a police officer. Like, I just never wanted people to know what I was doing, right?
Gotcha.
So
Yep.
he goes, I challenge you, because you say you have a servant heart, and you do. You didn't go be a police officer for the money. You wanted to go serve people. But I challenge you to start telling people your story. I was like, man, I don't really want to. And he brought me on his podcast. First thing I ever talked about on a podcast in early 20. Okay, that kind of felt okay. And then I was just like, F it. And I just started talking. And then it developed into writing. And then it developed into a personal brand. And then it just happened organically.
Really?
And then I started getting into the lifestyle design stuff of how I figured out geographic freedom and to move around the world and evolve my purposes and stuff like that. So no, all that stuff just came from me being challenged by someone I respect. And I'm like, so you're saying I can help millions of people if I tell them a story? All right, well, I'll just do that. So I did
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's how it started.
You make that sound easy. What did he challenge? Did he say, Maurice, you just, you know what, post once a day? What was the specific challenge? Was it just to get the message? How did he say deliver the message?
Especially for black and brown folk, especially for black
Okay.
and brown folk from where me and Jerome grew up. So he grew up in North Carolina. I grew up in inner city Boston. Well, my parents got me out of inner city Boston pretty early, but nobody has that perspective that you can have multiple regular careers. You can go chase what it is that you love. People didn't know I was doing things like I would leave DC on a Wednesday, Thursday. Let's say Thursday. I would leave DC on a Thursday on a nighttime flight overseas, land in Turkey on Friday morning, read a book in my favorite town, and fly back Sunday afternoon. I was doing stuff like that my entire life. And he's like, if you claim to be a servant, but you're having an integrity gap.
Mm.
Yes, you help people. I get that, Maurice, but you're saying that you want people to live differently, to see different versions of what success can be. And that's not money related, but you're not telling anybody. And now you can sense by the way that I talk on LinkedIn and things of that nature, it's not money, man. It's how do we plug into the planet? How do we plug into life? Right.
Yeah.
So that was his pseudo challenge. And it wasn't, like, hey, one point at me, one statement, one day, this is what he said. It was just over time.
Okay.
And then when I did it naturally, people just started following. I'm like, why do I have 10,000 people following me? This doesn't make any sense to me. And it's just been great ever since. And I turned it into a business, the Try Life On coaching business. And I am still a little bit stunned how well it's done, but I love even more the fact that I have helped people change their lifestyle. That's what matters to me more.
Yeah. Well, and you get to serve people
It is.
wherever via Zoom and help them. And I
That's
think,
it. That's it.
and based upon all the investments you took risks on, I'm trying to think why the 99%, and I'm going to keep saying the 99% because I think people should get curious on real estate. They should be curious
Yeah.
about building a personal brand. They should be curious just to hit post, because I don't think LinkedIn charges you any money to hit post, nor they do charge me anything to hit post.
Uh,
And I was just watching something from like Gary Vee on the video side. He's like, everyone should be posting 3 times a day on LinkedIn. And it's like, well, why would I do that? Well, because there's a bunch of people, like I see the Twitter space, right? And I'm not used to that space. I don't
I'm
know
not
how.
either, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just a whole different clientele, a lot of hatred, a lot of a lot of negativity, which I
Yeah,
try
that's not
to
my thing.
avoid.
Yep.
Yeah, and what you'll love about LinkedIn is there are a lot of help on there. Everyone wants to help each other. That's what I like about this space. And
I do too.
yeah, you can build a brand on that. Maurice's living proof inspired me to do it, and I think it's just a great place to share your message. And everyone has a message no matter what you are doing, right? Like we all
Yeah.
have
And
something.
everyone, I want to suggest this to people because not everybody needs or wants to get into real estate or assets for that matter. But here's another suggestion.
Mm,
We live in the greatest time in human history because what you can do, you can create a personal brand the way you're talking about. LinkedIn itself has 900 million 900 million participants. If you can find 100 who are interested in your message or 100 people who want the knowledge that you have, I like if you're a CPA, if you are a doctor, if you are a real estate person like me and Mac, if you can find them and they have interest in what you were talking about and want your help, you can create your own economy. People don't want
Mm,
to go through companies to do things anymore. People just want to, yo, let me go talk to this dude Mark, let me go talk to this dude Mo, get their information, and I will pay them for their time. And people
yeah.
are making livings out of it.
Yeah.
So great, real estate, businesses, but there's a solopreneurship, there's going through social media. Like there's just so many ways to generate your own economy now.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about. Be curious about that because that can free your life up.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. I in I I think it's so important in 2024. Right? You know, you did it in 2020. Like during
Mm,
COVID, could have been a great time because everyone was online.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
little harder nowadays, right? Like, but is it still a very good time? Have you missed the like perfect timing? No, this
Oh,
is it. We're in it.
we're still at the infancy of it,
Yeah.
and some other platform will come up later, or it'll be in the metaverse, or it'll be somewhere else. Just get, as to your point, get curious.
Yeah.
Just get curious and see what people are doing, or pay that person for their time and ask them, what did you do?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
why are you going to business school if that dude is doing exactly what it is that you want to do? Pay that dude or pay that girl to teach you what they did.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having a mentors.
Yep. Mentors.
Um, and I got a few questions that I always ask, kind of to
Hit me.
wrap things in. You know,
Yeah.
what do you invest? What are you investing in right now? What are you doing right now? I know you got development, you got real estate,
Yeah.
condos.
So I'm
Anything
developing,
new?
develop, new. Well, I'm always doing real estate. I think that my style of real estate is very different now. So it's all
Okay.
single family stuff. Then it's apartment complexes in the US. Now it's land in the Mediterranean. So I'm building villas and condos that get sold one off. I'm building my own home too. But
Okay.
I was just talking about this. I still invest in restaurants, so I still own a couple of restaurants.
Okay.
But I was just talking to someone about this where my next 5 years, whatever I invest in is going to be more from a lifestyle business perspective.
Hmm.
So I wrote if people are interested, you can go to trylifeon.com, go to the newsletter section, and there's a newsletter on lifestyle businesses. And the video that I had was talking to my boy I was in Lebanon at the time, but I've done this in Greece, I've done it in the US, where I just find really cool businesses and I'll go talk to the business owner because I get a sense that they created that business not for max revenue, but for max life fulfillment.
Hmm.
So whatever I most likely do next could be a bed and breakfast, small hotel, small restaurant, but like I would actually run it, not invest in it.
Okay.
I'm going to do more of that style of investing from a lifestyle perspective because I can keep doing this real estate stuff until the cows come home, but I want to grow in different ways. I'm still growing in real estate, but I'm not really learning, and
Right.
that's a challenge for me. I need to learn,
Okay.
otherwise I kind of lose my momentum in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was to your to the point you were just talking about. I was talking very wealthy person. I mean,
Yeah.
their dream was to run a brewery one day or something. You know,
See?
it's like what?
Yeah, exactly. I know a guy who just bought a winery, and I'm like, man, that's massive. And he's like, no, it was 700 grand.
Huh.
Now
Geez.
that winery doesn't make a ton of money. He's like, I don't want it to make a ton of money. I want to create probably 1,000 bottles a year, sell to my friends and family,
Yeah.
have people come over and live this lifestyle. And I'm like,
Dang. Yeah.
thank you for giving me a key. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
Where it's all about money for everybody. Nah, man, there's a section of humanity who's much more interested in lifestyle and doing things their way. That's where I want to be.
Yeah, I like that, man. What's one of your best investments and what's one of the worst?
Hmm.
Got a few bangers at the end here for you.
I the best investment I've made is the one that has enriched me financially and lifestyle wise at the same time. So I'm gonna have to say, I mean, I'm just saying this in a vacuum, but I'm gonna have to say taking a leap of faith and buying my first 10-acre plot of land on an
Mm.
island in the Mediterranean. That was nuts. And it wasn't a lot, it was 300 grand. And and when I got an offer on that land for 1.6, I was like, this is nuts. We're we're developing it now. So I think
Okay.
it's worth probably 5'5", five
Wow.
six, something like that.
Cool.
But the money's great. But what it gave me, brother, was relationships with people in a different place where I get to learn again. And I'm
Yeah.
also considered a respected businessman in that community, and people know me. And I like that. That was my best investment. And then worst investment by far was when I lost my focus in 2006, because I was doing so well, not because I was smart, but because there was a real estate boom. Like, you could just print money.
Yeah.
You could buy a condo off plan that wasn't built for 200 grand, and by the time it was built, it was worth 350. Like, that's just printing money.
Yeah.
And I bought a penthouse condo in DC, Washington DC, not because it was a good investment or met my goal of financial freedom. I bought it because I wanted to be the big boy who owned a penthouse in the
Oh,
city,
yeah.
and a bubble burst a year later. And
Oh,
man, did I lose on that thing. But all the lessons I learned from it were great. But that's definitely the worst one that I made.
yeah. Oh, good. Two good ones.
Yeah.
Two good ones. What's your biggest fear?
Regret.
Mm,
That's it.
regret.
The biggest fear is
Okay.
regret. If you are a street cop like me, and you run into homes and you've been shot at and you've been in fights, or you're in the military and you've seen some of the things I've seen in the Middle East and in Europe, and by the way, again, that's not glory, and I'm not saying nope, I can be killed at any time. But when you
Yeah.
see those things, you start to realize that no, that's just part of life. The biggest thing that worries me is the day before I know I'm leaving, if I'm ever that fortunate. Oh, I didn't go do this. I didn't go to the Mediterranean. I didn't ask the girl. I didn't ask my boy to go hang out this day. I didn't spend enough time with my parents. I didn't try this business. I was
Mm,
too scared, or I was following society's version of success, when the version of success that would make my heart big is this. That's
yeah.
why I am just this status quo as a default language. I have no interest in it whatsoever kind of guy. None.
Yeah.
I could give a shit what people think about what I do, where I go. That's why I was telling you the story about Turkey.
Yeah.
4 year span after I was a federal agent in Turkey, I revisited Turkey on weekends, maybe 35, 40 times
Wow.
easily,
Insane.
because that's my version of happiness. I don't want to punch off this planet not having lived life to the fullest. So my biggest fear is regret.
Yeah. Love that. Yeah. Well, when you're flying out there to read a book and fly home, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's some fulfillment, and I love it, man.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself, like, just 10 years from now? Let's call it 2033. And where's Maurice going? What are you going to be doing?
Mm-hmm.
And what's your lifestyle at that point?
That's a good question. I have an idea, because from a lifestyle design perspective, where we start in the process is to write your perfect day.
Mm.
And I rewrote my perfect day probably 2 weeks ago, and it talked about I'm headed this way too. It talked about me being at home in Cyprus or somewhere, but most likely Cyprus. I'm building a home on the side of a mountain. It has a great view of the Mediterranean stuff. It's humble. It's not like this massive thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Just being there with my wife and my family and my adult kids right now, who are 23 and 10. They have taken over the real estate stuff. I'm not so much doing real estate anymore as I am this Try Life On movement, and helping people understand how to build lifestyle and to be unapologetic about it. I'm working on media projects with a couple very accomplished Emmy Award winning people. I
Wow.
hope it goes somewhere. And if it doesn't, I have no regrets. See, I'm
Yeah.
going after the stuff, right? How can I impact people in a way that they realize that they do not have to follow the status quo? I think I'll be working on that forever. But that's what I see myself in 10 years. Like, I've shut down the machine in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably buy one asset a year for the rest of my life or something like that. But it won't be this heavy focus. It'll be more of living well in a place that makes me happy. Environment matters. I gotta wake up by the Mediterranean, man, like every day.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, just helping people and enjoying life.
I love it. I love how you kind of work off the perfect day. I wrote that down. I think that helps put it in perspective and then build off of that, and you
Yeah.
build the plan around that. Yeah, I like that.
Because if you can vision it,
Right.
You can consciously and subconsciously move towards it. But if you don't state to the universe or to yourself what it is that you want in
Hmm.
vivid detail, then you're just going to accept what you see around you. I
Right.
don't accept what I see around me. I'm not interested. I am interested in what we used to do when we were 10 years old, which is, remember, man, we used to run through people's backyards, jump the fences, dream about stuff,
Yeah.
scrape our knee, get up. But your brain wasn't constrained by everything that people tell you.
Hmm.
So I don't allow my brain to be constrained. I write it down in vivid detail. I imagine, I dream, and then I just go do it.
Yeah. That's awesome. I think it's just good perspective for anyone that struggles with clarity. I mean, you find your clarity and then
That's it.
build the
That's it.
perfect platform for you to live on,
That's it.
and something to chase. Because if you're not chasing anything and you're just always trying to make more, it's going to be a very unhappy life for you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to get burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
There's no purpose there. So,
Mm-hmm.
I got one last question. What
Yeah, bro.
doesn't follow the herd mean to you?
I mean, it's exactly what you and I talk about, or what we talked about today, and what we tend to talk about on social media.
Yeah.
We live in a society. I want to be around people, but I prefer to be around people like yourself.
Mm.
We live in a society where by the time when you're in kindergarten, you're free, you're unconstrained, you're eating paint and you're throwing color at the wall. Like, it's just a good life. And then you start to get into grade school, and then compliance kind of kicks in. Johnny, don't do this. Nancy, have your mom sign this. And then you get into high school, and it's all competition. It's who's going to be the MVP, who's going to be the valedictorian, who's going to be the prom king, prom queen. Everybody starts getting a little bit crazy, competing against each other. I believe this. It perpetuates into college. Think about it. Back in high school, AP classes. Like, oh, I got to get an
Yeah.
AP. It perpetuates into college, and the worst thing about the way our system works is that you go right into the work world with the same mentality. Oh, it's me and Matt, and we're both
Yeah.
competing for the same position. I got to get this exec VP job. So what ends up happening is you come into the office at 6, you leave the office at 9 p.m. because you want to get that exec VP job, to the behest of, I'm leaving my family alone and I'm not spending time.
Mm.
Unfollowing the herd just means that definition and programming, there's nothing wrong with it, but you don't have to follow it.
Yeah.
And I say this all the time. I got my last promotion corporately in 2013 because I started turning down promotions, and I retired in 2021. And everybody at work just kept looking at me. You've been here 20 years and you're not a partner. Why? You there must be something wrong with you. No. I was building up a real estate portfolio of 2,000 units in the background, and traveling all over the world, and being a street cop, and being a federal agent, and I even acted on a Disney movie. And like, we're doing this thing where everyone goes to the right. So, well, I guess I better go to the right.
Yeah.
Nah, man, I tend to go the opposite direction of where people go. And that's what I think you mean by unfollowing the herd. But it's your decision. And I also want to validate we need each other. But
Yeah.
just go find the herd that makes sense for you. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to live on this planet by themselves and be the maverick. And go ahead and die with your $2 billion by yourself. What is that going to do?
Yeah.
We need people, but it needs to be the people that make sense for you.
Yeah. No, I think it's perfectly. I think you have a unfollow the herd is that you followed the, like, some people could term it as a corporate job, but
Yeah.
you disconnected yourself where, hey, the pinnacle is being a partner. The
Yeah.
pinnacle for me is just to live right here and do
That's
what I'm doing and get my time to buy assets and do other
it.
things. Because
That's
I imagine you're probably more successful than most of those people who are partner level today.
I never
but
compare. I tell the
but
story of
we don't want to
one.
compare.
What? No,
But
no, no. And there's one guy who did something bad to me in the corporate side. I will never say his last name, but his name is Mark, and he just made me feel like 2 inches tall when I was 26 years old. And he
mm,
said, I was going to volunteer for Air National Guard stuff. And he's like, man, you're always doing stuff outside of work. You're not going to make it in corporate life, and we're not going to promote you. And he broke me. He
yeah,
broke me as a 26-year-old, this 40-something-year-old person. And here it is. And I've expressed my story to you and your listenership. and I know that person is still hard at work in the same office.
Mm-hmm.
I don't smile at that. I look at the system he came up in, and I'm like, man, he really got programmed to believe that life is blank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you? And then he put it down on someone.
Uh,
That's what pisses me off, you
yeah.
know. But other
Yeah.
than that, you don't compare yourself to other people. Everybody's
Yeah.
life is unique, and it's
Right.
okay.
Yeah. Good, man. No, I love how you answered that. How do we find you? How do we get on
Yeah.
the Try Life on, and where are you most active?
So trylifeon.com is my coaching platform, but also my blogging platform. I'm starting to use it more for blogging these
Oh,
concepts than I am for coaching. But you can find me at trylifeon.com. I have the Try Life On podcast. Um, LinkedIn, I'm very active, as you know, just Maurice Philogene. I am on Instagram at Maurice Philogene, although I've taken a break for the last 2 months. I've just been totally off because of some personal stuff. And then when the war kicked off in the Mideast, I have a lot of friends there. I cannot post happy stuff and just fake it that I'm
yeah.
not hurting inside when my friends are hurting every day.
Yeah,
So I'm
man.
kind of off the platform. And and then from a real estate perspective, it's Quattro Capital, thequattroway.com, QUATTROWAY, thequattroway.com. So that's my syndication business, buying large scale multifamily with investors. And then that people can email me at Maurice at trylifeon.com, and I respond to everybody.
Wow. No, yeah. If you're looking to change your life or try life on, or get in his ecosystem, I think he's worth reaching out to. He has a phenomenal story. I think he can inspire anyone. And I like how you put in this message, it's all the 6 inches between our ears that is holding us back, and it's nothing
100%.
more than that, man. And I think you, of all people, inspire yeah, millions of people on LinkedIn that, to get after it. So keep doing your thing, man. I
I
appreciate
will,
you
brother.
taking the time.
Thank you,
Uh,
man. That's my pleasure.
all right. See you.
Hey guys, this is Maurice, host of the Try Life On podcast, and thank you for listening to another episode. I hope you are finding it useful and helping you design your own lifestyle that you don't need a vacation from. If that's the case, please consider dropping a review for me, whether in Apple, iTunes, or in Spotify. Drop a review, put some stars on it, give me some feedback on how I can make the podcast better, what information you are looking for. I am doing my best to get information to you on the Try Life On principles, the 5 freedoms, how to build lifestyle, travel hacking, all of it. And I want to do it for you. So please do a review for me. And until next time, my name is Maurice Philogene, and this is the Try Life On podcast. Peace.